Well, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to pop on today to show you a new way that I learned to start threads on the front of your fabric. I did demonstrate this a little bit on my live session over the weekend, but I thought it deserved a video of its own. So today we are going to make that. It actually is a way that is actually new to me, but I rather like it. I'm going to show it to you on 28 count over 2 first. I tried it over 1 on 28 count, and for me it got a bit bumpy, thick, so I don't know that I would use it over 1 unless you're doing over 1 on, I don't know, maybe 20 count, but 20, I didn't try it on 25, but 28, it doesn't really work. Over 1. If you're doing over 2, it certainly will. Now, I'm only going to do it with 1 strand of floss so that you can see what happens, okay? So, let's switch to the screen where you can see what I'm stitching. So bring the camera in and we will move right along over here. So here we go. All right. Now, as I said, I'm gonna just demonstrate this with 1 strand of floss first to show you how to do it, and then I will show you how it looks with 2. So really what you do is really not that hard. It's basically the same as stitching over your tail when you hold it in the back. Only this time you're going to hold it in the front. So I'm going to go up, since I stitch bottom left to upper right, I'm going to go down in my upper right corner and I'm going to leave a tail. Now I'm going to hang on to that tail and I'm going to come up. Let me get over the right number of threads here. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to come up in my lower left where I always start, and I'm going to hold that tail down. Okay. And then I'm going to go down in my upper right. And you can do this if you cross 1x at a time, or if you work across the row and come back. I'm going to do 1x at a time at the moment. So I'm going to come up in my bottom right. Bottom right. And I'm going to go down in my top left. And when I go down in my top left, I'm going to catch that thread. All right. And then I'm just going to continue on with my stitches. Okay. And what you will see happen, now you will be able to see this somewhat since I'm only using 1 strand of floss. But I wanted you to get the idea of what is happening here. And actually, as I said, it's the same as if you would have been stitching over the tail on the back, only you're holding it on the front. Okay. So there we have the last of the tail. You really would only need to do 2 or 3 stitches. If you want to do more, you can, but it really is not necessary. Oh, lost the needle here. Come back. Okay, so there we did 4 stitches, and for the tail I left, that covered the end, and you would just keep stitching. Okay, now this works the same way as if you do all your first leg and then come back and do your second leg. It's the same. On your first leg, you hold that tail. When you come back, you're covering it. Okay, so that's what it looks like with 1 strand of floss. Now, you can see that tail under there, but you can barely see that tail under there. Okay, so let's do a little experiment here. Okay, I have to grab scissors. Let's look at it on 28 count with 2 strands of floss. Okay. Now if you're using 2 strands, you want to make sure that your ends are reasonably even. Okay. You don't want one end way longer than the other. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go down. Oops. You're going to go down in the top right. Now this time I'm going to go across and come back. Okay. You're going to come up in the bottom left. You're going to leave a tail and hold it. You're going to go down in the top right. Now, can you tell I like to work from right to left? Okay, so I'm going to go over 3 there. Yeah, this is the thing. The tail kind of blocks your vision a little bit, but that's okay. You're only going to do it for a few stitches. And as I said, make sure that you're catching that tail. Okay, Karen, can you tell I'm a little fumbly today? But we'll get there. What more would you expect? Well, see, my one little tail was a little shorter. So it wasn't when I started, but it was when I. So you just use your needle. He's being a little stubborn, as you see. There, I think I got it. There we go. There we go. Our needle is our friend. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to continue to go over these tails. Now I am doing this one as a sewing method. Again, that gives you the idea. I'm going to go over it one more time. Fumble fingers here. Oh, you guys are used to me, thank God. I miscounted by a thread, so pull that back out. 1, 2. There we go. So that does block your, pardon me, it does block your vision a little bit, so you have to just kind of take your time and watch where you are. Okay. All right. So we went over that many. So let's go back. So you see already it's hard to, oops, focus. Already it's hard to see that. And then when you come back, and let's stick and stab our way back. Okay, let's turn it and sew. Okay, when you come back, it's going to hide it completely. Now, as I said, I would be careful what count fabric you use this on, because if you're going to do it on this count fabric over 1, it's probably going to be a bit bumpy. Okay, at least it was when I tried it. So there you go. Hidden. You can't see it. And when it's up on the wall, you really can't see it. So let me show you how to end. So let me do just a quick row so that there's nothing else underneath there. Okay, maybe I should have put my other glasses on. That might be my trouble here. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to do a few stitches. Now, I would say if you're doing, I think Jean Farish demonstrated at one time that, does she call it a Victorian, where you're doing your X's this way and then down here and then up here. This method won't work because you have nothing that you can it would work to end your threads, but it would not work to, well, maybe it would. No, well, yeah, it would work to, forget what I just said. It probably would work. Okay. So, oh, that right there reminds me. I also talked about thread slippage. And someone asked me, will your threads slip on Aida cloth? No, they will not. It's only when you're working on an even weave, like a Lugana, a Jobelin, a Davos, or a linen, where it's a single weave, because that's where it can slip. So just throw that little tidbit in there. And now I'm going to go back and cross these real quick. And I'm going to show you how to end. The sewing method really is much faster, guys. My trouble is keeping my stitches neat. If I'm just doing a few like this, it's not bad. If I'm doing a whole big piece. Now, okay. We completed this row of stitches, whatever, or we completed this color. What you do is, you see how you have this little hole in the middle? Okay, come up in that hole and take your needle and slide it underneath all these stitches. I mean, you can just go 2 or 3. I just happened to just kind of nicely went under 4. So you're going to slide it under the stitches. Got a little bit of that one. Okay. And then you're just going to pull that through like that. And so that you don't have to flip your work, I kind of hold this up a little bit, and then I just take my snips and I snip it off as close as I can. These snips are not that great, let me tell you. They were cheapies on Amazon. Should have got my Hardanger ones out. Yeah. And again, you can't see it. Up on the wall, you will never, never notice it. So this is how you would do it on an even weave. I don't have enough thread here yet. But just to quickly show you an over 1, how it gets bumpier, I'm just going to do this much. All right. I'm going to start a thread here. And I'm going to do, oh, wrong way, Jose. Okay, start a thread here. Come up here. I'm going to leave this longer, but I'm not going to stitch over as much of it. And then I'm going to stitch over. Okay. I think I did that first stitch wrong, but you'll still get the idea. Okay. It looks okay when you do leg one. Okay. It hides it rather nicely. The problem becomes when you go back and cross them. And I think it gets bulky looking. Okay, where are your magnifiers when you need them? You didn't bring them along. Let's stick and stab it. Okay, I'm not really going to do any more than that. But you see how, I don't know, it just, I don't particularly like how it looks that way. So I would not recommend when you're doing like over one, especially on the finer count fabrics. But for over two on this count fabric, or even over one on something that's bigger, like, I don't know, I'm not sure how it would work on 20 count. I don't have any, I have not tested it on that. I've tested it over two on this, on an even weave. And for those of you who are Aida stitchers, you would do it exactly the same way. So you would go down again in your top, come up in the bottom hole. Okay, so it works exactly the same way. I'm just going to do a few here to show you. Okay. This would be fabulous for people that stitch, as long as you had enough stitches to be able to do it. It would be wonderful on your Heaven and Earth designs on Aida cloth, or Aida cloth. I can never say that right. Okay. So let's go back and cross them. You can't, you won't see it. It'll be just as nice as the even weave fabric, or the Jobelin or Lugana or Davos, or ones that come to mind. Brittany Murano. Those are Luganas. It's when they use the names for the count as opposed to just saying it was 28 and 32. So see, it holds it quite nicely. And then your ending would be exactly the same as I already showed you. Now, for you folks that stitch on Aida cloth, the ending to this is the same. You can use the same, but there is yet another way that you can start. Do you see how your threads in the Aida cloth, there's some horizontal ones, there's some vertical ones, the next one's horizontal and vertical. What you can do Now I'm going to stitch left to right this time. What you can do is go under a vertical thread. Go down in the go down in the center. Oh, lordy, this is stiff stuff. There we go. Go down in the center of the next square. Pull that through. Come up in your starting position. Pull this close and start your X's. And again, one at a time or cross as you go. It makes no never mind because this is going to be completely hidden because it goes under the threads in the fabric. So just to show you, it's not even going to show on the back for those of you that stitch with Aida cloth. Okay, let me do this one stitch yet. Look at that. You don't even see it on the back. I love this. If I was an Aida stitcher, or if my Heaven and Earth designs were on Aida cloth, yeah, I'd be using this. Now, there's one more way, and I'm just going to come up. Okay, I should cut it and leave a tail. There's one more way you can do that. You can just go under maybe 1, 2, we'll do 3 just for kicks and giggles. 3. Okay. Pull it through like this. Again, you have to get to the back. So I would pierce like here in the middle. Come up right here in your starting position. And again, just stitch over it. Okay. Just stitch over it, just the way you did before. Okay. And again, you would end the same way as I have already showed you. But those are some new ways that even I have learned how to start threads. So I hope that helps you. I hope you can put those to use if you so desire. And with that, I am going to say, I will see you next time. Here we go. Goodbye.